July 27th, I was tested. When I got tested, it came up positive for COVID because at that time I just thought it was going to be something simple like a sinus infection, which I normally get a couple of times a year anyway. I had to go to the emergency room 3 separate times. The third time was when I got admitted because I had both pneumonia and COVID. Then it was just a couple of days into that my oxygen level got real low, and when it got low, they had to put me on the ventilator. Of course, I don't remember anything that happened past that point, short of what the nurses and my wife told me. That was a real touch and go situation. I was so tired and so drained. Things really weren't making much sense to me at that point. My wife had to take care of pretty much everything. You know, the only thing I was really cognizant of at the time was making sure that I had a mask on when I was around her so she wouldn't be exposed. When they told me they were putting me on the vent, they asked me if I wanted to speak to my wife. At that time, it was hard to talk because I didn't have much air, and so all I could do was text her. And I told her it was ventilator day, I think is what I texted her. When they asked me, they said, we're going to put you on the ventilator. There's a chance you might not wake up. You know, it took a little bit. I ended up getting enough air, and I said, "You mean die?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." In my mind, I said, "Okay." But at that time, I was actually at peace with it because I knew if I died, I know where I'm going. It's kind of like what Paul said in Scripture, where he said to live is for Christ and to die is gain. And it's kind of where my mind was at the time. When I first got off the ventilator, I asked the nurses if I could get up and go use the bathroom, and they told me, "You can't walk." And I was like, "What do you mean I can't walk?" They said, "Try to pick your arms up." And I mean, I couldn't even pick my arms up. I mean, I'm skin and bones from what I was. And it's taken several weeks of rehab to be able to, every single day for 3 hours a day, just to get the strength back so that I can walk. The nursing personnel here at this hospital in particular, the backbone of this hospital, these folks have gone above and beyond anything you could possibly hope for. What the personnel at the hospital are having to go through and how they deal with it on a daily basis, I have no idea. They're very brave to do what they're doing. The first time I was able to stand and walk, which my wife made a video of, it took everything I had to pick myself up. And it was only 4 steps forward and 4 steps backwards. But just to be able to say I was able to stand and take just a couple of steps from where I was at was a huge step. When they landed on the moon and said, that's one small step for man, one giant step for mankind, that's what I was thinking about when I was, walking on that, because when you're as weak as I was when I got off the vent, and I'm just sitting there, my mind blown, trying to figure out how am I going to be able to do any of this again. And then it's just been steadily, for the last 2 weeks of being in rehab, of being able to walk. I still have to use a walker because I need something to help sturdy me, but it's been a challenge. But with the rehab specialists they have here, they do a great job. There's just been so much stuff thinking about the vaccine, where prior to this, I really didn't see this as a big thing. Looking back on it, I wish I had, because not just financially what it's going to cost for this, but what it did to me physically. I've been in the hospital for a month and a half, plus however long it's going to take me till I can get back to work. And this is, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I think people ought to make the decision for themselves, if they're going to get the vaccine or if they're not. It can't hurt you to get vaccinated. So, I would highly recommend it to anybody, just to keep from what happened to me to happen to you. My plan is we have not told my 9-year-old. She hasn't seen me in a month and a half. We're gonna go to her school and pick her up out of school, but I'm gonna try and hide and then, jump up at her when she gets out as best as I can. and see how she reacts to it. So I'm very excited about seeing all my kids, even my 17-year-old. I promise you I'm gonna hug his neck and embarrass him. So, it's just gonna be a great family reunion.